I just got revisited with another trauma in myself that I guess I've been what is that called, licking your wound, or you know what I'm saying, in a way. I'm sitting here and this group of people are outside, man, out in front of the spot here, and for some reason I started recalling the time right before I got raided. It was like I could tell that there was animosity from my neighbors toward me, and I didn't know why. And it's basically envious and covetous. It's like they look, because when you partake of the scheme in life, the scheme in dark American dream in life, there's some people that play it so straight that they kind of are salty at you that they got to work so hard, but they see you. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. It's not that I didn't work hard too here and there, but you know what I'm saying. I was also hustling on my main was hustling really, and I just was using kind of the normality of life as a cover. You know what I'm saying? But same thing. That's how they work. That's why this popped up on me, man. It was like there was a group of people out there, and I thought, man, they just don't look like they fit in here. And I started thinking, oh my God, they're fucking about to raid me, man. It must be they're finally coming after me for my YouTube channel. Oh shit, man. I mean, I didn't panic, I wasn't sliding around on the floor yet, but it was kind of weird. There was a lot of movement outside. I could overhear neighbors like complaining about other neighbors, and it was stirring up that old feeling. And what it's called is when someone looks at you with guile. It's also called, I heard in Spanish, it's called ojo. And in Jewish, it's called the evil eye. And in Florida, I got raided in Michigan, and I went to Florida, and I was with my dude. We were rolling, and my buddy Dale, brother from another. And I seen these people when he drove by. They went like this, and watched us drive by. And I goes, Dale, man. I goes, did you notice that? Did you see how them people just looked at you? And he goes, man, they're always looking at me like that. Like 2 weeks later, he got raided just like I did. You know what I'm saying? And I felt it and saw it and recognized it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even really doing anything guilty right here. But because of the trauma of having your house raided by a bunch of dudes in ninja masks, gorilla suits, and then being gang stalked and followed around, I'm not the Flint Town Stabber. I'm the Flint Town Stabber suspect. There's a big difference there. That just meant they were trying to see if I was him, if this was even real at all, or if they weren't it was a mock simulation drill, and they used me as the real thing, that they based the guy they said was real off of maybe me. And that's really scary. That's once again, that fractures a person's psyche a little bit when you traumatize them, and this is the whole point here. And once again, before the spirit of possession of fear came upon me, I always had the spirit of paranoia, and it comes from that. And that's partially having a guilty conscience. You always gotta cover your tracks, because it's not only the cops, but it's the streets themselves. They'll take what you got, or to save their own skin, they'll take you down. You know what I'm saying? So look, it's just, even now, that's exactly what it says in the end times it'll be like. Like people will turn you in to save their own skin, and just only to still lose their soul and their life anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's all for nothing. Same thing with people looking at you with guile, because they believe for some reason you don't deserve to have what you got. That's the same reason the police raid you. Is the same reason why your neighbor look at you with guile. Because I wasn't violating the rules of the game. You know what I'm saying? Other than I liked it too much that when I started catching the signs, I didn't give it up like I should have. And I told my buddy too to get low and give it up, because I felt the same signal. But today I felt it too. But when these people knocked at the door, and I said, frick it. Went out there and talked to them, and it's some group called Flint Rising, and it's about the water. And I'm like, ha ha ha, You don't say. You know, and I try to pitch it. They try to pitch me their cause, and I try to pitch them my YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had to go out there and just face these people, even though it was fearful for me, because it made me revisit my trauma, which now makes me revisit the fact that, wait a second, I'm hurt and I'm holding a grudge against police in general. And just because, you know, on a few occasions I feel they violated my trust, and you can't trust them anyway, but not in total, because they can't trust you in total neither. It's just the nature of the job. But there's quite a few times where, look, cops might have took sympathy or mercy out on me when maybe they could have gave me a harder time than they did. So just because I got these few bad examples of horrible police situations, I also do have more actually of them actually just not making a big fucking deal about things that they could have, like catching me out when I opened beer. You know what I'm saying? Catching me ninja weapons and knives and shit. They didn't hit me with no weapons charges. Maybe having a warrant, they didn't pick me up. They just let me roll on it. So I can't totally hate them anyway. I mean, but it's still the nature of the game is I don't like to get pimped. And it's like tickets will pimp your life. Tickets have caused so much F shizzle in my life because I've been pretty poor, man, for a lot of years, man. I mean, like I said, look, and I didn't realize, see, it's a double whammy here because I'm traumatized. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, it opens a door for being bitter about the situation. Be like, why are you targeting me? You know what I'm saying? Why are you targeting me? So, and you know, that's kind of good to know that the stuff, I'm still harboring that kind of fugitive inside where there's still bitterness. And the trauma's caused fears, man. And it wasn't a super intense fear, you know, I didn't jump out the window. You know what I'm saying? But I almost felt like it for a second, like it stirred up some ghosts. You know, chasing them ghosts, man. It stirred some up for a second, and it was kind of good that I got to witness them. So everything happens for a freaking reason. And you know, it's like that's what also trauma does, and having a residual energy is that it causes you to assume the worst sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just this. I'm kind of stressed out about other things. So look, that opens the door. I'm weak enough now to where a random thing fucking triggers an old memory, and then I'm freaking catching it right away. Like, whoa, wait a second. I see where this is coming from now. And right as I was making this video, they stood right out there again. You know what I'm saying? In front of the place, which initially spooked me the frick out. I mean, I don't know. Like, look, you ever heard of a process server? You know what I'm saying? It's like shit like that. That's when I see people that are strange, I always assume it's a UC, it's an undercover, and I can't, even though I haven't even lived in the game for years. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and if I even do anything semi illegit, it's like I haven't. You know, I don't do it for very long. It's just sometimes, man. Certain situations will bring up old cravings, old things will resurface just like this. And just like the Bible says, you got to bring these thoughts under captivity, because if not, then they'll captivate me. Like if I'd have been waiting behind the door with the freaking axe, waiting for them to break in, out of past residual fear and trauma, that would be like, that's a very extreme example of what I'm feeling a little bit of, which is like, look, it gave me a little bit of anxiety and paranoia. It stirred up, you know, in me, and I just, you know, that's kind of it's pretty freaking crazy. But yeah, I gotta learn to forgive the police and let go of the fact that, you know, the tickets they've gave me, how much trouble it's put in my life. Some of the things I did to myself by we get in trouble. You know, when you get in trouble, you should expect to get punished for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not every single freaking time, but look, even if you get away with it, you'll still catch it for some reason later down the line, and with cause, you'll deserve it. But that's how you know if you deserve to keep it on you, is this, if you can't recognize it and let it go and forgive. Like, you know what I'm saying? When someone does it to you, if you harbor it and grudge it, well, God's going to drudge it back up on you later. But if you acknowledge it and resolve it, at least in your heart and your mind, then you can even take bigger steps, bigger actions, like actually going to the people themselves when they pop into your mind, like out of these situations. Like, you'll think the whole circumstance as opposed to just elements of it. Like, sometimes it takes a few elements of the whole circumstance to resurface the actual trauma, the incident, the source, the root cause. And like, literally now I can trace these things. Look, I could see how the paranoia opened the door for the spirit of fear later, like 10, 15 years later. Because I see how these things progress now. Like, one spirit, a grudge, will turn into like a resentment and a bitterness if left unchecked. Anger will turn into wrath or some kind of retaliatory act. It will ultimately lead to your own condemnation if you harbor these things too long, and then you die with it. You die with it, you don't buy with it. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to part from it anyway. Whatever you carry is like, what does it say? And where your treasure's at is your heart will be. So if you're remembering what everyone owes you, that's in a way, that's your treasure. Your treasure is this earth realm memories of the things that are unresolved for you, because it's like, look, they may never be resolved, but that doesn't mean you need to cling to them. If you had already forgiven the debts and let the captives free, set the prisoners in your heart free, you wouldn't be experiencing the symptom of harboring it, which is the grudge, which is the, oh, I'm pulling out my who's naughty and nice list. You know what I'm saying? Because look, if you know yourself, you probably should know that you are on the naughty list too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, look, it's like, look, if you're, whatever standard you expect me to live up to, well, then you better live up to them too, friend. You know what I'm saying? So if it's kind of like it says about the law. Well, listen, if that's your personal law and you don't even live up to it yourself, well, then you're guilty of breaking it all. So, I mean, you got to be real careful how legalistic you want to be, because that's what legalism leads to, is you'll have this list of all these people who you owe. Oh, I owe them some payback, or they owe me this or that. And then look, you'll meet your maker and he'll be like, you owe me this, you owe me that.